Today is your day. To hustle, to grind, to chase success at all costs, or so we're told. In a culture that worships productivity and glorifies sleep deprivation, the mantra is simple. If you're not exhausted, you're probably not doing enough. This relentless push to achieve more and sacrifice rest in the process is echoed as the key to our success. But is it really worth the toll it takes on our health and sanity? To me, hustle culture epitomizes the extremes of capitalism. The glorification of getting a little sleep is a baffling phenomenon, predicated on this lens of life as a tireless pursuit of productivity. Want to accomplish your dreams? Work harder. Want a better life in the future? Sacrifice more today. Sleeping only 4 hours and working out 3 times a day is touted on social media as this gold standard. The message is clear. You could be doing more if only you slept less. It all baffles me. As someone who really feels like shit getting anything under than 8 to 9 hours of sleep, I've always had this voice lurking in the back of my head, blaming me for wasting my time, for not using that time to work harder. But if I do end up getting only 6 or 7 hours of sleep, it feels like my quality of life just falls off a cliff. I'm more irritable, prone to burnout, and most importantly, way less productive. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this feeling. Social media is flooded with content of successful people who regularly sacrifice their health and their sleep. Day in the life videos often consist of people waking up at 4 a.m. and not resting again till 11 p.m. every single day. In the face of this framework of success, it's only natural to question yourself and whether or not you are really maximizing your full potential. But honestly, it's disheartening how little education we receive about the importance of sleep. I want to read out some hypothetical benefits of a life-altering supplement and see if you would take it or buy it. Reduced inflammation, longer life expectancy, increased testosterone, lower risks of cancer, increased fat loss, increased focus throughout the day, and so much more. Oh, and it's also natural with no side effects, no preservatives, and non-GMO. If you hadn't figured it out, the supplement is sleeping 7 to 9 hours a day. It's just that simple. If you're not sleeping enough, sleep more and your life will improve. Yet, that's the root of society's neglect of sleep education. There's no sponsorship link to buy it for 50% off. There's no paywall, no catch. There's no monetizing sleeping more after a certain point. It's not a catch-all fix that's a simple pill to take or juice to drink every morning. It requires you to restructure your days, reprioritize your life, and figure out how to find more hours in your day to rest. It's much easier instead for companies to spend millions making colorful energy drinks and supplements to make you feel like you can max out your productivity without having to take the initiative to just sleep more. I also want to take a second and acknowledge that for many, it's a privilege to spare 8 hours a day to rest and recover. People have real-world responsibilities, working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. A couple extra hours in the day is something they simply do not have the luxury to reallocate. My problem more specifically is with those who have the ability to sleep more, but choose not to, either out of this conscious or subconscious belief that minimizes sleep to this unproductive or unenjoyable activity. I read this book called Why We Sleep a few years ago, and honestly, it really shook me just how foolish we are to think that we are above sleep in some way. If sleep was really so unnecessary for our brain or physical function, our bodies would have weeded it out through natural selection centuries ago. But they didn't. Sleep, in particular non-REM sleep, is essential for the formation of strong memory patterns. REM sleep, on the other hand, is instrumental for creativity and the associations of memories into your ideas of the world. So if you're pulling an all-nighter to, say, study for an exam, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot by putting your brain at such an insane cognitive disadvantage. There's also a direct link between higher instances of mental illness like anxiety or depression and sleep deprivation, because a lack of sleep makes your amygdala, your brain's emotional center, more erratic and prone to extreme feelings of stress, sadness, or anger. Now, I can continue ranting on about these facts about sleep and why you should sleep more, but that's not exactly what I want this ramble to boil down to. The science of sleep is something I highly recommend looking into on your own time, as the stats are really astounding. But I find it quite silly that a lack of sleep has become some type of metric for how much you can accomplish in a day. I get it, if you have more hours in a day, you can accomplish more things. But if your brain is working at 60 to 70% capacity and you only accomplish 10% more, is it really worth it? When it comes to working out, creativity, or getting the most out of your waking hours, it's all rooted in a good night's sleep. A person who blindly follows this robotic mentality where we as humans are reduced to output machines are grossly underestimating the costs of burnout, mental instability, and a simple lack of recovery. Another major issue I find problematic is this idea of revenge bedtime procrastination. It's a phenomenon where individuals delay going to bed as a way to regain a sense of control and personal time in their lives, often at the expense of sufficient sleep. This typically occurs when people feel that their daytime hours are dominated by work or other responsibilities, leaving little time for leisure or relaxation. To take revenge on their busy schedules, they stay up late engaging in activities they enjoy, like watching TV, browsing the internet, or reading, even when they know that this behavior will result in inadequate sleep. But what this does long term is actually lead to chronic sleep deprivation and negatively impacts your overall health and well-being. I say this as someone who felt like this all growing up. I would stubbornly stay up into the late hours of the night, binge watching Netflix shows half asleep just to prove the point that this is me time. But I wasn't fully enjoying the show, nor was I giving my body its much desired rest. In an economy where attention has become our most valuable resource, billions of dollars are on the line when it comes down to your decision to watch TikToks for just a few minutes at night. By diminishing the value of sleep, corporations are able to squeeze out just a bit more of this extremely scarce resource from you. If you want to hear me rant more about the attention economy, I'll link to a previous video where I dive into the importance of boredom. Sleep, I feel, can fit into that same narrative of the growing importance of slowness and rest in the face of lightning speed stimuli. In revolting against this lack of control, you actually feed more into the dangers that these stimuli pose. What seems like a negligible difference to your health and an act of revolt is actually digging yourself deeper into a hole. Sleeping less makes you much more prone to anxiety, health problems, and overall unhappiness, which is only exacerbated by excess consumption. In trying to revolt against the invisible hand of capitalism, you are suffocating yourself into a negative feedback loop of rotting, where you slowly numb yourself to the pressures of daily life. If you are in the camp who feels frustrated that you are not able to be hyper-productive off 5 hours of sleep, know that that's okay. That's human. The idea of sacrificing your health every day to squeeze out marginally better outputs is something I firmly believe will not be worth it and backfire in the long run. My closing thoughts are pretty simple. Don't be fooled by the hustle mindset that success means that you need to sacrifice your health and sleep less. Yes, there may be instances where sacrificing sleep is a short-term necessity, but to use it as a long-term strategy will only set you up for a dangerous burnout. Be mindful that your decision to sleep less might just be the product of millions and billions of dollars that have been spent to market to make you feel like you don't need to sleep as much. Recognize that sleep is a superpower that all humans possess, and to neglect it for no good reason is simply foolish. Don't mortgage your future for just a bit more today. Listen to your body, and when possible, prioritize your recovery. Thank you. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new here, click on Homer's beautiful face to subscribe. I make new videos every Friday. Click on the last video if you missed it, and I hope you have a beautiful day.